All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled "Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father" at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled "The Problem with Young Intellectuals." I think it's a Black America problem right now. This is what I'm addressing my people. We always, believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty there, possess and try. Give them a sense of pride. Make it easier. Here's the problem. Because, when you're a kid, you sit at the kiddie table. And then you grow up to sit at the adult table. The problem with us, we're backwards in the sense of our intellectuals that are supposed to be our elders, for most of us are non-existent. So now you have these young intellectuals taking on these ideologies at a young age, and we're figuring out as we go, right? And the problem is this: a lot of young intellectuals don't stick around, don't come back after they've seen the flaws in taking on an ideology. Kind of like being young and in college. You're young, you're new to the world, you get some new information, then it's like you're trying to tell everybody else what you've learned and they already know. And what winds up happening is when people try to tell you, okay, this has holes in it, here, here, here. You don't know what you're talking about because I found out about this last month and I'm an expert now. And I'm going to be on my bullhorn and soapbox and I'm telling the world. It's like, okay. And then when they come to find out some information that might shatter them just wholeheartedly taking that ideology, they've moved on. And the problem with that moving on is this: sometimes young intellectuals go so hard for their cause, they gain a following. And now these people go down this road, and when they come and they don't come back and say, hey, I know I took you this way, but when I went down and got to the end of this, it didn't end like I thought. And we've seen this in our community for a very long time, where you got conscious intellectuals who want to talk to you all about consciousness, but that consciousness doesn't really make their lives better. Then you got, feminism, right? You take on the young roles of feminism, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't make your life better, but you get a following. Then you got, black entrepreneurs or black business people who nobody listens to. They just crickets in the room when it's time to make moves. But so they move on and their lives are better, and then people are mad at them because they're not coming back for the people, say, who are conscious or people who are feminists. And it's like, yo, you didn't listen. You didn't want to listen. You was all in that. That's the road you chose. That's the same thing when we were younger, and some of us was listening to rap like it was the gospel, right? Oh man, listen to this music, trap or die, get rich or die trying. Your ass go to jail. And ain't none of them rappers bailing you out. But you thought you were smart because you took on a new ideology, and you congregated with a bunch of people who had a similar ideology to you, and it didn't make your life any better. And here's the problem, And then you have people who bought into that ideology more than you did if you was a young intellectual. And even if you come back, you can't get them out of it because, they completely dove in head first and sold out for it. And then you can some ways lay this at the foot of sometimes the older generation, because that's where you will go to for perspective on, if you was a conscious, a young conscious intellectual, you should have a older conscious intellectual telling you, look, this works, this doesn't. If you want to if you want to make your life better, you got to do it this way and not that way. Now, there's definitely room for error because two generations operate in society completely different in different generations. Same thing with the feminism. You know, the older feminists should tell the younger feminist intellectuals, look, we thought this would work, but this doesn't. This works, this doesn't. You know, if you want what you want at the end of the day, you're going to have to do this. You have to cut this out, you know. And that's the issue. That's one of the issues. Because, you know, nobody wants to say that young intellectuals make too many mistakes. And they're supposed to because they're young intellectuals, you know. They don't have the experience to know if their ideologies and plans are thought out properly, and they haven't been able to practice them against the world. You know what I'm saying? And this goes on too much, too much. It is what it is. And unfortunately, you know, another problem is a lot of young intellectuals don't even have intellectuals in their family to bounce their ideas off of. That says a lot. You know, you don't have people in your family. That's not a good idea. I'm not gonna say you have people in your family, but sometimes we don't have the people that we deem as intellectual. We may have wise people that we don't want to listen to because all of a sudden you got an education and you so smart that you can't listen to wisdom. Like, that's definitely an arrogant problem in that. But there's also, you know, situations where you just literally are surrounded by people who aren't smart and aren't wise. So you can't really take their word for anything. Which is a major issue. Another thing that would bug me over the years was the emotionalism of young intellectuals, because they can meet another, like, two people from two different walks of life or two different perspectives can't really have an intellectual conversation as young people because of the emotionalism. You know, somebody's gonna get in their feelings and either try to bully the conversation or call names or throw a tantrum or just check out from listening. And sometimes they don't really realize they've gone too far, because if iron sharpens iron, and that's one of the things that's hard when you're dealing with youth and emotionalism is it's hard to be sharpened by iron because you still are childish in a way where, you know, you can't combat constructive criticism and logical criticism or a logical disagreement, you know, on the simplest of things, which is a problem, which is a problem. And then it's not completely thought out. And what I mean by that is a person could be on their ish, and the same thing that made them laugh is gonna make them cry. The same points in ideology and stance and the line they drew in the sand, the same position they took is gonna be the same position that breaks their heart. Because this is one of the issues that we have is your ideology is kind of set where you're right and you can't be wrong. So what happens when you're wrong and you have never been right? You can't erase all of the damage that you caused being wrong. You get what I'm saying? And and the youthful part of that is To say, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does matter. You know, if you were wrong and you went hard in this particular direction, you caused a lot of damage unnecessarily in this direction. Are you going to take up a cause to fix the damage that you caused, to fix the damage that you actually caused? And most people don't. Most people don't. This is where the disappearing act, or, you know, I'm reinventing myself stuff comes from. It comes from waking up one morning and realizing that it was easier to send people on the wrong path than to get them on the right path, or to say that I was going in the wrong direction. So, you know, this is a few of the problems that I have with young intellectuals, or the problems with young intellectuals. So, no. Okay, it's another one. Young intellectuals don't know if it works or not. It's really just trial and error. And to be an intellectual and you don't know it works, it's not really that intellectual. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is, and then you get then you get yourself in a situation. Oh, I never factored that in. Right? I didn't know this would happen and that would happen. So obviously you don't know what's going on. You didn't think of. There's no contingencies to what you're thinking. So, we out. Peace.